Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is establishing a minority franchise, and we're fortunate to have with us an individual who has been involved with establishing minority franchises and other activities, and a great entrepreneur, Mr. Roland Jones. And of course, Mr. Jones, let me welcome you to the show this morning.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
And to tell you how delighted we are to have you here, Mr. Jones, and I think that we indicated up front that you are a great entrepreneur, and that might be outstretching it in a real sense, but as soon as you give us some information about your background, education, and some of your experiences within the context of establishing minority franchises, I think that people will understand what we meant when we said that you've really been involved and you are indeed a great entrepreneur. Let's start off by talking about your background, education, and some of the things that were important in terms of your life that led you to us today.
Okay, well, hey, first of all, thanks for being here. It's an honor. Yeah. Well, I began my life in rural West Tennessee, back at around the outbreak of World War II. That's when I was born, and all my values were shaped there. And of course, I went on to graduate from high school in Memphis. And after college, I went into the military. And of course, after that, I taught in the Memphis City school system for 1 year. And while I was doing that, I was attending broadcast school at night. So back in 1964, I landed what I thought was my dream job.
Okay.
As a radio announcer in the Mississippi Delta. And of course, that didn't work out too well. I enjoyed it, but there were some restrictions on the things I could do, and I wasn't pleased with that. And as a matter of fact, I ended up getting fired.
Okay. Might have been the best thing that ever happened to you.
It was the best thing that happened to me, because when I got fired, what happened, it put me on the road. And I ended up in Washington, D.C., in an employment counselor's office. And that employment counselor hooked me up with a HR person that was with McDonald's. At that time, it was a franchise-owned McDonald's. It was like one franchisor owned, franchisee rather owned, multiple restaurants. And this was back in July of